Guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. You can see I'm back at Into Moto, and today I've got another little beauty for you. So let's just have a look at what today's bike is. Look at the state of this beauty. So what we've got is the Lexmoto Detroit 125. Into Moto are selling this motorcycle for £1,999. Good thing with this bike, it's 12 months old, but it has just hardly been used. It has 40 miles on the clock, that is all. So it's practically a brand new bike. Anyway, let's have a look around the usual way. So there's your close-up. Now I do make the reference, if I get any cruiser really, if they look a bit Harley Davidson-ish. Now this, for me, it does have a touch of the 883 Sportster about it, size-wise, style-wise. I mean, let me know what you think, but I do genuinely believe that. Does have that vibe, even down to the central single clock at the front. And you can see it's on a 2024 plate. Just looking around everything on this bike, it just looks as new. Let's start with brakes. It does have disc brakes, as you would expect, a front and rear. There is a single disc, single piston caliper at the back, and you've got the disc at the front. I can't see any brand name on the caliper. Now, quite rare, I think, for this type of bike. It has got a side stand, but there is also a centre stand as well. A good addition, that, because it is a chain drive and the centre stand does make it easier for that chain maintenance. The seat looks lovely and plush. There is a little bit for a rear passenger should you want to take someone on the back, and you can see some rear pegs which clearly have never ever been used, but they are there should you want to take someone. There isn't, however, any grab handles. You've just got the strap. Let's talk seat height. You should be able to see with me stood at the side of it how low the seat height is. It's actually 720 millimeters, which is unbelievably low, and it's certainly going to be suitable for the shorter legs amongst us. If you've watched the channel before, you'll know I'm 5'8". I've got a 29-inch inseam, so I've got short legs, and yet I am flat foot with quite a big bend in the knee. So this bike is going to suit somebody a lot shorter than I am. So it's going to suit the shorter rider is what I'm getting at. Seating position, yeah, I'm not stretching for the bars. Unlike the Harley Davidson Sportster that I mentioned on the way round, the Sportster is quite an aggressive bend in your back. I've had them myself, and you are bent over the tank a bit and your legs are forward. Now this has got forward pegs, but they're not that far forward. You're not stretching your leg out forward, but they are in a forward position. And because of the placement of the bars, your back is pretty much up straight, so it feels comfortable. Actually feels more comfortable than the Harley Davidson 883 that I had, for that exact reason, not bent over. Yeah, seating position's lovely, and you're never ever going to have an issue getting your leg over something that is only 720 millimeters, so that's a good thing. Should have mentioned the wheels when I mentioned brakes, but it does have alloy rims, front and rear, and they look really nice actually. I do like the styling of the wheels. Probably see better with the front one. Yeah, really nice looking things. They just how clean it is, but you would expect it because it has literally done no miles. And looking at how clean it is, I should imagine it's never been out in the wet. Today, however, I'm going to take it out, and whilst there is blue sky, the roads, they're a bit on the damp side, but I promise not to make it dirty. Fuel tank on this is 14 litres. Now 14 litres or 125 is massive, to be fair, because this bike claims to be able to do 120 miles per gallon. So that is a hell of a lot of miles out of that 14 litre tank. Now let's talk engine. This engine, it's a single cylinder 4-stroke. It is air cooled, and it is, I think it's 124.9 cc. It does say it delivers 9 horsepower, or 9.2 I think it is, which is around 7 kilowatts. Now the horsepower figures, they're not massive. The big thing though, it does claim a top speed of 65 miles per hour. Another thing I really like about this bike is just how unbelievably light it is. So this bike is only 141 kilograms, which means it's really easy to get off the side stand. And again, just to put it into perspective, I've been on a Vespa 125 scooter recently that was 158 kilograms, so 17 kilograms lighter than a little scooter. So if weight is a consideration for you, it needn't be with this one. I made the reference to the Harley Davidson Sportster, and this is just another thing for me that makes it look like one. So you've got the single clock there, front and centre, and you've got these, and mine had exactly the same strip there, so it just looks very familiar to me. Classic Mickey Mouse ears, the circle. Yeah, you've got the circle mirrors there that just really fit well with the bike. You can see the bars come up slightly on the Sportster. They're quite low down, and that creates that back bent forward position. And you just don't get it on this because the bars are raised ever so slightly, but they're also angled slightly towards you. So that gives you that nice back up straight position. Anyway, let's talk buttons. So what you've got on the left hand side is your horn, your indicators, there's a high and low beam, and then there is a flash button on this side. Right hand side, just your engine start and an engine cut off. Nice and simple. Cheap plastic, but it's a cheap motorcycle. What you've got to remember with something like this is it's less than £2,000. Now if you compare it to even bikes like the Keyway RKV, which is around the I think it's just over £3,000. Even the Superlight by Keyway, again, I love those bikes, but the bikes are over £2,500. So this is at £500 cheaper than even the cheapest. So you get where I'm going with this. It is just a lot of bike for the money. I hate using that saying. I've said it recently with a couple of bikes, but unfortunately it just fits the bill. I mean, look how nice this bike is. There are bikes inside Into Moto now that could be £1,000 more expensive or £2,000 more expensive, and if you put this next to it, you might even say that this is a better looking bike. I mean, I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder and all that stuff, but it's true. I think this is a lovely little cruiser. However, before I start getting too excited by it, I want to take it out for a ride, because looking nice is one thing, but it's got to ride nice, it's got to perform well, and that's what I'm going to do now. So stay with me for that. I'm going to go and throw all of my kit on, and yeah, we go for a ride. I did forget to show you on the walk round, it does have the key at the side. Yeah, I know it's typically like something that they do on cruisers. I don't know what the problem is though. I don't mind them just being at the front. Anyway, what I'm going to do, start the bike off and you can hear what it sounds like. Sounds alright actually, and I've not revved it much. It's only just switched on, so the engine's cold, so I'm not going over the top. Now there is loads of blue sky, but don't be fooled. It is actually quite a cold day today. It's not quite cold enough that I need to switch the old heated gloves on. Don't need to do that, but it is cold. This is where it's different. Now, I couldn't tell this before, but now I can with the lights on. So, these little lights here, I thought were just going to be your indicators, your fuel light, all of that stuff, your warning lights, but it's not. It's actually a gear indicator. I like that. Let's see what it's like to turn around. It's got a really low seat height, as you've already seen, so it's not going to be a problem. It's not like it's a balance issue. And yeah, it's another bike really that, because it's so light, to move from there round here, loads of room. Yeah, really good turning circle, really easy to do, really easy to manage. So if you are a shorter rider, if you're someone that wants a lighter bike in general, then this, yeah, it started off nicely. Let's see what it's like on the cobbles. It does have dual shocks on the back. Yeah, and you can tell straight away how unbelievably comfortable that is. I'm not getting too close to that bin wagon. I'm just going to stop here, give it loads of room. I'm going to get out the way completely, I think, on the pavement, because I don't even think they were looking for me then. The joys of being in a big bin van, you can just ignore everyone and everyone's got to move out the way for you because you're a big bugger. Anyway, cobbles, it's actually really lovely, and I don't say that lightly, because those cobbles can be quite brutal. If your suspension is quite stiff, you do get bashed and bounced about a bit, but that was actually really nice, and that's a sign of a good cruiser for me, because cruisers are comfortable. That's the whole point of them. It's supposed to be a laid back, chilled, comfortable ride, and so far this fits the bill for that. The bike itself hasn't been used for a long time. It has just been in someone's garage. My understanding is, from speaking to the guys, is that the owner that bought this unfortunately took ill, and having done a CBT and everything to use it, got ill and then never did. So the bike itself was just sat there and been unused. I'm certainly not going to do much miles on it because of that. I'm going to just whip it round the block, I think, and take it back in. Little spin down the road and round a roundabout, and just to see how it feels, because it actually feels like a really nice bike to ride. And I'm not going to do a speed test. Let's get to 40 miles an hour. So 40 miles an hour, and it does genuinely feel really comfortable. Speed wise, again, I'm not thrashing this bike because it's got too fewer miles on it. It's not actually been run in yet. It is essentially a brand new bike, but speed wise, just riding it as I would normally ride a bike, it's just a lovely thing to ride. Very comfortable on the seat, going through the gears as you would expect from a new bike. New brake discs, new brake pads, all that stuff. You take it easy for a little bit. It does stop as you want, but they're just not as sharp as perhaps I would want. But again, that's what happens, you know. You leave a bike standing for a long period of time, you're going to get things that just need to be ironed out. Going around the bends is lovely though. Going around the bends, moving it from side to side. It's a very light and nimble bike, as you would expect really, because, you know, they're barely over 140 kilograms. That is like really light scooter weight. I am actually really comfortable on this. For a cruiser, the only thing that I would say is something that is probably not to my taste is probably the sound, because it sounds just like a 125, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because it is a 125. But one thing I like with a cruiser generally is that they do have a little bit of grunt to them. They do have a little bit of noise, they do have a little bit of character that way, whereas this is just a lovely and smooth bike to ride. There's no vibrations or anything up to 40 miles an hour. It's just lovely, comfortable and really plush is the best way to describe it. But the exhaust note is just like a quiet 125, and I know for some people that's going to be a really good plus point. For me, I just like more. I don't want obscene when it comes to exhaust notes. I don't want obscene. I don't want something that's gonna just do my head in after half an hour of riding because it's just too noisy. I don't want any of that. However, I do want to have a bit of grunt. I want to have a bit of drama when I give it a rev, and this, it just rides and feels like a lovely, really nice bike, but it's just missing that drama, as I say. So for you, or you know, you might be the same as me, or you also might think, actually, I'm not an idiot like Gilly. I just like to ride a bike and I'm not bothered about it sounding loud. I just want a comfortable bike to ride. And if that's the case, this is a comfortable bike to ride. It's not loud, it's not obnoxious, it's really easy for the tight turns, just like I've done then. And it's a really easy bike to ride. It's actually a lovely bike to ride. Even with the couple of miles I've just put on it, it's only got 42 miles on the clock. So I don't want to do anything that's going to ultimately hurt the engine because it's not been through that running in period. So I've just ridden it really how I'd ride my own bike. Just a nice, slow, sedate little ride around town, and in doing that, it's comfortable. The performance is surprisingly good for a bike that's only got 9 horsepower. It was surprisingly good. Keeping up with traffic, not a problem at all. Up to 40 mile an hour, no hint of any vibrations, just a lovely thing. It's a lovely bike to ride. So yes, if you're very quick, this bike is available. I'll put a link in the description if you are lucky. But yeah, what a lovely thing to ride, and a great price as well. That is going to do me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Laters. Oh yeah, he's a killer, that's right.